Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the actual first Overwatch Team VOD review I think that will ever be going on to YouTube. I might be wrong in that one. But today we got something special. Today we're bringing back the Community Clash. We're bringing back my team versus Kurovi's team that you see on the right, which will be live on Saturday, the day after this vid gets posted. So make sure you go set a reminder for that stream right now. It's going to be great. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be a very good matchup between two very good teams that have improved quite a lot over the course of the week. I've seen their improvement already, and I'm really excited. We have a few of the team actually here today, so if you hear them asking questions, that's why. But I mean, are you guys ready to go? I'm just ready to start talking about compositions that we might run and our strategy against what they might have. Are we good?
Go for it.
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, cool. So, here's the thing. For those that didn't watch the first stream, everyone that might be watching this video, Zen and Sojourn are very strong. Those are two characters that we don't have. But now we have Motorcon, who we're going to try in a scrim tonight to run Sojourn. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. But we're going to kind of theorycraft here because we have Saber who can play Tracer kind of. Saber can play Genji as well. I don't know really what we're going to try here. I'm going to really need someone to record the scrims tonight so I can see what we're going to throw around here. We have someone that's good at Pharah. We have someone that's good at Genji and Tracer. We have someone presumably that's good at Sojourn. And we have someone that's good at Soldier 76. Action's probably our best soldier. He was doing a lot on DPS, so I think he's probably the best DPS I've seen so far out of all of us. But depending on what we want to run, I think I want to try the Soldier and Genji, but if not, we can also try this pharmacy that we were trying to run. It's not really good in Overwatch 2, but it's what we are good at, so we can maybe take the torch and run with it. If it was high SR, I think we'd be able to just do stuff just fine. The other thing is we don't actually have, like, full player cams, because this is pre-recorded on YouTube. If you want to check that out, there's a VOD in the description. And if we're ready to go here, let's talk about compositions. So I'm going to ask questions for literally anyone to answer, and then you guys just let me know what you think. Okay?
Okay.
From a very basic macro perspective, I want to look at their comp first. What does their brawl comp want to do to us? How do they win? Do they poke you
By
guys?
separating one of
the
us.
distance.
Yeah,
Closing distance and getting very, very close to you. And if I were looking at my own comp right here, you guys can see what I'm drawing, I hope. What you guys are running, what are you guys going to try to do? Are you guys going to try to close the distance as close as them, or is there something different that I might be not saying here?
Just poke.
We win the poke battle.
Yeah, so we just try to keep them as far away as possible, and they just die because they can't get to us.
So the most important thing, if we're running a pharmacy, is we want to poke as long as possible and not force a fight. So what I think, literally no matter what we're going to do, I think we should always run the SIG. Harry's SIG is good. It's a good backbone for the team. We're going to talk about how we could play better around him today. And I would almost always be playing at least a BAP. It's going to have a similar tempo every single time we play. I want to see if we can run a Genji Sojourn and see how that works. If not, we can also try the pharmacy. It shouldn't really change too much.
I'm been playing Zen all week, so.
Okay, so we can also try the Zen instead of the BAP. So long as Mato is good at BAP. Is that true? Can we run the BAP then?
Yeah.
Or at least try it.
With him.
At least try it. And if that doesn't work, we can also pull out the pharmacy with a Sojourn too. But the Sojourn's probably going to remain constant, whether we run a pharmacy or a Genji Zen. That's going to be really dependent on the scrim tonight and what works. Because I want to try what works. And I mean, I like the pharmacy on this map, but I don't love it. So we're going to have to see kind of how that goes. So what we just said here, that's very important, but we also need to make sure that we're preparing for maps that we might want to play. So when we're talking Midtown here, we want to elongate the fight. We want to make sure that the fight is as spread out as possible and we're poking them. But I also want to tell you guys what lanes are important to cover. So generally, I think you guys should start in this high ground. I think that's a very strong spot to start with this composition if you think they're going to run Brawl. If they don't run Brawl and they run something similar to you, you can just take the fight back here. That's totally fine. But the reason why I want you guys to start here is because if they do end up walking on you here, that's fine. But I also need someone to be making sure that they're not doing this huge long rotation and going through under here. Does everyone understand? I mean, I don't think Motor is going to understand where this is, but does everyone understand where the bottom rotation thing is here?
Yes.
This is a very good spot for Brawl to go and rotate around into, because then they can just run right to point and it's not too big a deal. So even if we are going to start out here and try to poke them as much as possible, we also have to be cognizant of what's going on here. So if they don't peek you guys in like roughly 5 to 8 seconds after the round start, they're going to be playing here, in which you guys should just rotate back to high ground and play here. And maybe set a Pharah up on this angle where my bottom left is, and try to just poke them out for free. And just try to surround them. Thing is, you're going to have to be very, very, very careful with how you surround them, because you don't have a Brig, you don't have 2 tanks. Saber can't just play with the Sig on a flank anymore, because the Sig is now the front line, which was a big problem that we saw here and that you'll see later in the VOD. But that's the basic macro that we need to be playing to. At the end of the day, a brawl is inevitably going to happen, and when it does happen, we need to just make sure that we're supporting the Sig and pumping as many resources into him and stacking, or having good angles that we're not getting taken out on. Good angles around cover. Good angles that you're not super overexposed. So the main thing is, don't put yourself in a position that you can get run down on, and maximize how much poke you can do. Make sure that you're not just feeding to a Cassidy, Sojourn, Genji, if that makes sense. Is everyone on the same page here?
Yeah, I think I'm on the page.
All right, cool. So let's move into this VOD. I'm gonna keep the VOD volume relatively low for myself because you guys can't hear it. But let's see how they're doing this. So like here, right away, it's just mostly not understanding where we want to take the fight. So I think taking the fight out here first is fine. You just have to react accordingly to what they have. So if they have Brawl and they're going all the way around, like we said, make sure that you're playing according to that. If they just want to take the fight right to you, you take a little bit poke, and you still want to just go back into the train. It's more so just scouting what they have so you're ready for anything. Oh, well, this thing hasn't even started yet. What am I saying? Okay, so we do play out here to start. Alrighty, we're playing. So, I mean, immediately, they're going far. So, I remember this being, this is like 10 seconds into the round. If you don't see them, know that something is up. And they're probably going to continue to run this sim strat. So, I mean, unless you guys really want to collapse on them right here, I would just play an open space and try to open up the fight and take it to point. Because point is pretty open, all things considered. But let's keep going. Does that make sense to everyone? Again, any questions, just interrupt me immediately. Okay. So you guys are probably going to lose this fight because you guys just don't understand that the TP is probably what they are going for. And that's just like learning the map. So it's good that we're lecturing this map now so that we're ready for anything. But notice that if we're playing to like, if we're ready for them to poke out there, and we're ready for them, and we're in open space, our Pharah just gets free poke on the CP. And so do you guys over here on this high ground where you could quite possibly find a pick. So that's just a positional error from a team. But here's the thing, the fight's not over yet. So long as you guys don't just int in here, you'll be fine. So long as you just play to poke with the Pharah, you guys should be able to win this fight, which I do think you actually pulled together. So now Pharah just gets free spam on point. Really, someone just needs to touch, which is honestly probably the Sig, or if we ran a Tracer instead, which I think is better, a Tracer or a Genji should probably be on point. I'd much rather a Tracer just poke for a little bit, just keep going in and out. So here, that's great. Like, Fried definitely plays Pharah. That's their character. So if we ever run Fried in this DPS, we're probably going to try to run a Pharmacy. And this is doing much better, like I said in the VOD, which I'm sure people on YouTube will be here. So yeah, this is great. Everyone's walking in together, and here's the thing. The only problem here is Saber has a very tough time. He's a solo player. If Saber does end up watching this VOD back, just play with team. And honestly, I think Genji's just a better pick than the Ashe here even. I know I told you to go Ashe. I think the Genji's a better pick, or a Tracer. Because it's just so hard to get stuff done. But this is great. So, like, see how we played that there? And it wasn't hard, right? Like, that wasn't like you guys had to be God gamers.
Yeah.
So, do we understand what we did there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What did we do? Squid. Is Squid here?
Yeah, I'm here. What's up?
What did we do?
Took a group. Me and Sigma, me and Harry went up, and we pressured them from a little bit of far, so we're not in the brawl, but we're still poking them.
Let's dumb it down. Let's dumb it down. You're going too hot right now.
Okay. We're in a group. We grouped.
No. What does our comp want to do?
Poke.
What did we do?
Poke.
And what did we not let them do?
Brawl.
Yeah, great. You guys played Overwatch. Good stuff. Like, it's not that hard. We played poke, and they played brawl, and we poked better than their brawl, because we played the map better. It's not all this crazy stuff like, yo, dude, we went in a group, and we went to the right side, and then my Pharah came from the left, and almost got barraged, and then I bubbled, and then she barraged all 5, and I won! It's not that hard. It's really not. It's really just like, what does my Pharah want to do? She wants to poke. Okay, we need to touch point. Allow our Pharah to poke. Simplify it. Don't make it so hard. Does that make sense? Like, I don't want you guys to think so hard, because the harder you think, the worse you're going to play, because you're going to be slowing yourself down and thinking about so many variables you do not need to think about at this level. You just don't. So I hope that makes sense. And if we're not, we're going to keep rotating through this VOD, because I don't want to make this more than like an hour-long VOD for all of you guys. But that was great. You guys played the poke. It was very consistent. It was great. Now we need to make sure, though, that we're getting ready for what's next. What characters are they going to have next? Because now they picked up a Cassidy. So now our Pharah's going to have to play a lot less aggressive. She's going to have to play against a hit scam, which is going to make her play around corners a lot. Like, she's going to have to play around corners, and you guys are going to want to set up on map space that's going to let her do that. So playing on point immediately here, that's not good. The reason why, Harry, if you do end up staying here, is that you're just letting them walk straight to you, to the point, which is what they want to do, and you're going to die much faster that way. What's better is staying up on this high ground here and creating multiple angles of pressure. That's the better option here. I understand that this is a very long sight line, but honestly, the high ground is harder for them to get to you and close that distance, and you want them anywhere past this bridge. At least in my opinion on spam. I might be saying this wrong, but this is just my idea, and from what worked with scrims with me. So then Pharah gets a little bit overzealous and gets poked out a little bit by messing up, I think, on the train, maybe? But yeah, right here, I'd honestly just be playing up top and just poking them for free. There's no reason that the Pharah, if they come up top here, that the Pharah can't just poke down this huge angle. The Sig can't play there, the D.Va, or the Ashe can't play there, and the moment they get really close, they just drop. Thing is, you have to be really efficient on your spam, or else they will just run you down. But it should be with enough damage that you can take the brawl anyways. So this is just a lot of missed potential. They're going to have good map space on you guys. They're going to have good map control, and you're probably just going to lose because of it. Still, though, even though you guys made a drastic macro mistake, still found the pick onto the Moira. So, like, notice, it's not just aim. If we play this better as a team, we easily win this fight. Super easy. So, understanding what positions are going to make them struggle. And, like, okay, they have to run down this easy lane. We literally cannot miss our shots. We just hold left click. But what happens here is that now is a mechanical misplay that's going to come up here. What happens here is that Saber's going to take this high ground and just get poked out for free. Which, I mean, that's a mechanical thing. That's an example of a mechanical thing that can really struggle. But, I mean, right here... so what should we do? Now going back to the high ground, even if we call for that, it's still not the best because they're just kind of stabilizing here. If we play right here, they can't stabilize, and it's a one fight then and there. I'm just hammering down the point of like where we want to play and tempos and stuff. It's really important understanding how fast their comp is and how fast ours is, and just playing what we want to do. But this is exactly what they want. They want to force us off the high ground and go to point. You don't want to give that to them for free. I don't love that they're giving them. Well, actually, I'm actually okay with that. It's okay. I mean, it's okay if you're forced in this position, but you guys weren't. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Make sure that you actually force them to use cooldowns to like make you get back to this spot. Because this spot isn't horrible. Like, you can still win. But like once they close the distance on you, they just get to go under here and then you're done. So
I think that's what happens.
Yeah. Or they just go, no, what happens is they so Saber was like, I can off angle in this comp because that's how I played in Overwatch 1, but then Genji and Cassidy just will fuck him up every time. Yeah, you just need to play with your team. Like, you can't off angle unless the Sig is with you on an off angle, which isn't really an off angle anymore. And then yeah, it's just a loss from there. So that was a macro thing from the team from the very, very start, but also a micro misplay from Saber. Which is fine. We live and we learn. But here's the thing. From all those other maps, you know, holding them for 2.5 minutes basically is pretty damn good. And if we play just a little bit smarter, we honestly first point hold there for free. I don't think they're good enough at Brawl to really force you guys to lose that. I think Brawl's a pretty bad comp unless you have people that are just insane on the Brawl characters, like London Spitfire, and I don't know. That's just my opinion on things. I might be wrong in that, but for what team we have, I think what we're running right now is decent. I think with a Tracer it's better, but Yeah, this is just here's my question for second point. What's the most important thing to hold on second point Midtown?
Right there, the high ground. I'm thinking.
Okay, why is the high
Spawn.
ground really good? Why is the high ground really good?
They can't get to us easily. They can't get to us easily.
Yeah, and where can you not see on high ground? It's a trick question.
You can't really. You can see everything.
You can pretty much see everything, right? If they try to go down this lane on you, you just set your fair up here and poke them out until they try to take the brawl here, and then they'll have no resources. They have to push below you. This is much like Watch Point, first point. Watch Point Gibraltar. Holding the high ground here is so important. So, like, if you guys died and they're all on point and they haven't capped first point yet, honestly, I wouldn't even go for a recontest. I'd much rather you guys just make sure you go on this bridge. And make sure you hold the high ground for a good second point. Because second point is really important to hold. And if they're running a brawl and you guys are running this comp, you're not going to win that retake. Unless you have an ultimate and you're very confident you're going to be able to pull through. So high ground is the name of the game on Midtown second point. I think what happens here is we didn't ever get a foothold on high ground and we staggered extremely hard. That we actually don't get to take high ground. I mean, I don't know why you lived there, Matai. I don't know how you freaking lived there. You should have died, but it's fine. Like, they have Lotad? Lotad was GM on console. What? Oh, lordy.
It's gonna make it ever so sweet when we win.
Yes. So here's the thing. Alts, honestly, I'm just gonna talk about alts at the end of this VOD. I think it's more important that we play the very basic neutral better. Oh, sorry. I just voice cracked very hard there. So, like, right here, it's really difficult for us to take this high ground now because we essentially have to brawl with our Sig in. So, this is a situation where... I know I just said I wasn't going to talk about alts, but this is a situation where you're going to want to have to commit alts and people need to be ready. Like, Farah can't be this far. She needs to be much closer, like on this corner, so she can concuss around and just look for a barrage. Because they have a high noon online. You guys just need to make sure you're taking this fight fast. Like, the moment you guys give up high ground, your life just gets a lot harder. Also, a quick little tidbit that you might not have known. This little box right here, I don't know if you guys can see this. You can actually jump over this. You don't need to actually go through this little part here. You can just go through the blue. Which might be very easy, or a nice little thing to know as a DPS player, or even as Sig, when you don't really want to take the fight in here ever. Hold up, you don't really want to take the fight in there ever against a brawl because it's really closed. So if you want to, you can also just rotate around here, and it makes it. You might be able to catch them off guard. Is everyone with me to this point?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
I think Harry's back.
Yeah, I've been back. I just muted because people in my room, so.
All good. No worries. No worries. So right here, honestly, when they have high ground, you're going to have to commit ults to get them off high ground. Even if you don't get a kill, so long as you control the high ground, I think it's worth. You're probably going to get a kill, but like this right here, the Flux was fine. Honestly, he should have just shattered you then and there. You're way too close to him, and he's going to shatter you there. So that's where the moment where it's like, I think playing here and trying to like, wait, what is... It's a highlighter. It's weird. That's where like the jump here might actually be good to like jump and get around them. Because he doesn't have stun anymore to stop you. They have no stun other than the shatter. So, right there you should have gotten shattered. And now we're just very, very split because we didn't have a good idea of what we want to do. So, the priority here is taking high ground. Now that we all know that, we're not going to get distracted by things like this. Things like this, with the Cassidy going that way, should be a dead giveaway of, hey, my whole team's on high ground. It's a 5v3. We kill this Ryan for free. He's fluxed. Instead of, ooh, Cassidy! I'm dead. You know, stuff like that. So then you guys, obviously we're going to lose this fight. Okay. I don't need to say anything about that. Maybe we don't go for those reses. Yeah, and then this is just a roll.
Yeah, I shouldn't know if he's winning.
Yeah, the fix here is just having Saber
We can make one more contest up here. We have Barrage and Bob to contest.
Sojourn also makes your life a lot easier, even if you want to play the pharmacy on this map. Right here, again, I don't think the retake is worth unless your whole team is ready to retake or you have picks. never go for this retake, ever. Any retake. It's much better, especially on Midtown, any payload map, to make sure that you have the most favorable position going into the next fight. So this right here, low-key a troll, because now they get a first free team fight win. Like, this isn't even a mechanics thing. This is just like slow your roll a little bit, and you get like 5 more fights because you're gonna win those fights. So if anyone says, "Yo, we should touch," make sure that you have a pick or that you have like a good plan going into it. So somehow the Pharah doesn't die there. So like, here's the thing. This team mechanically, like, honestly isn't rolling you that hard. I think a lot of the reason why they're higher ranks than you guys is just because they're playing smarter. Like, to be honest. Because, like, the Pharah should die there. There are some maps where Mateau's going for even riskier reses and getting away with it. There's just a lot of bullshit happening. And if we clean up our game, it's going to look better. So, you guys get away with it, and Harry's just hard carrying. So, Harry carry, that's why we run BAP. Harry can just do whatever he wants. We just need to make sure that we're playing smart around Harry, and Harry's also setting you guys up correctly so that we don't troll. So, like, here's the thing. Let's hold up. Let's roll the tape a little bit more.
And I think Sig actually just beats Ryan.
Should I push hard there? Because they're down 2, but like...
It's brawl though.
So here's
It
the
is.
thing, right? If you want to push hard, your team needs to push hard with you. And I think when they're here, they were here the whole time, and you're all the way back there. You're trying to walk to them. I just don't think it's worth. I don't think it's worth. Especially when they have brawl. So, Harry, I'm going to ask you this question. Where would you, if this isn't the play, where would you rather hold right now?
Probably up top, above like where
Like here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a fine place to hold. You could also just hold like up on that staircase on that side too. I'd probably rather you play up here though with like an Ash. And then your Pharah can honestly play anywhere at this point. Pharah is very playable on this point. I don't think she's good. I think she needs a little bit of love. Specifically, Mercy needs a little bit of love too. But I don't think Pharah's bad. Like, this is a huge open area. You want to play as open as possible. You do not want to run on them unless you're cleaning up. You just need to be a little bit closer to them to clean up. But to be honest, you guys are mechanically on Sig, you're kind of diffing the kid on Ryan because Ryan's a bad character right now. So it didn't bite you in the butt, even though it should have. And yeah, like what I said right there was, with the way that the enemy's playing, he should not be afraid of the Ryan, because the Ryan's not really big dicking you right now when he should. Now that might change for Friday or for Saturday, because I'm sure their whole team's gonna watch this VOD. But even then, so long as we play our comp better, our comp on paper is better than theirs, at least in this situation. So at this point, if I'm saying alts, we'll talk about that after when we're not recording. But like, if we want to play for the barrage, playing up a little bit closer is fine. We just need to make sure that like our Pharah is gliding here, and we're scouting for her so that she can just press Q and it's not hard. But let's see. We decide against it, I guess. The thing is, whenever Pharah's gonna barrage, we need to support her because she's going to die every time. So now they switch to Sig. They're playing a little more pokey, but we're still more pokey than they are because they have a Cassidy and we have a Pharah Ashe. So like, still, we want to play slower than them. They still want to brawl out on us at the end of the day. They want to play a little faster. So like, I like that Pharah's here. I would just rather see the Sigma like here if we're going to be playing for a barrage play, because we need to set her up. I wouldn't say in the neutral we do that. It's only because we have barrage. But I agree with the barrage play. I just think, yeah, like, we're poking them out forever, which is really nice. I think we just need to be a little bit more engaged. It's understanding those variables, that now our tempo is faster and we can go because they switched and all that other stuff. But then we weren't ready to push with our Pharah and she dies. We'll talk about it after. That's a higher level thing than what we're making mistakes on. But like right here, when we send in ults or we're playing for ults or we send in a Bob, that has to be the green light immediately. You know what I mean? Unless we have him surrounded, which we didn't. The Bob going in needs to be a green light. So right here was just like, we were so hard focused on playing the spam comp and playing that tempo that we didn't realize that... let me slow this down. Matar, are you here? No.
He just
Harry, Harry, are you here?
Yes.
Wait. I already asked everyone else a question. Motor, you're here, correct?
Yes.
Are ultimates... This is dumb. I don't know. Okay, ultimates. Do they always adhere to the same tempo? This is such an easy question. Of course they do. Let me just... This isn't even a question. Sorry, this was badly formulated. Ultimates do not always adhere to the tempo you're playing. Does everyone understand that?
Mm-hmm.
Ultimates are like catalysts to your speed. To specific ultimates are catalysts in the fight that can speed up your team fight win. That's essentially what they are. So when you throw in Bob, that's a catalyst for you to be like, okay, our tempo is now up a little bit more than it would be in a neutral, and now we can play even more aggressively. Or maybe it's like, okay, it's like a good uptime thing that now we want to play in a specific zone. And even then, you want to make sure you're aggressive on that. It's a catalyst for you to push forward. Sometimes the ultimate is poorly used though, and you have to realize that and just be like, okay, that ultimate's a dud, whatever. So this is the last thing I'm going to try to say on ultimates. But if we launch in a Bob, or we're playing for Farah stuff, understand that you're not going to play the same every time, and it's okay to play a little bit more aggressively if you're looking to set up for these things. So I want to make sure you guys understand that Brawl is going to be faster than you guys, but that can change due to the situation. Like we maybe have high ground, we got a pick. A pick can be a catalyst to winning the fight faster, but ultimates are as well. But you also have to factor in what they have. We're not going to go that deep. Am I rambling too much, or is at least the word jumble making sense?
No, that
Um,
Makes sense to me.
If we use ultimates, go in.
Ultimates
And it's not even always go in. Just like when the ultimate is good and it sets up a good aggressive opportunity for you, realize that and go. If it's a dud, also realize that and be like, okay, we're gonna troll. That Bob is like in. Like imagine if this Bob ran all the way back to like the start of second point and it's like under the bridge right now. That's not a good ultimate. It's a dud. Just play it out like it's a neutral. But if the fair is setting up something, that would be an okay catalyst because you're playing weird. It seems dumb, but you have a plan. You have a trick up your sleeve. So that was just honestly poor macro play. We didn't play with our ultimates correctly. So now here's the thing. If they ever go double hit scan, I don't think we need to switch off Farah. I don't. What I think is that we need to immediately switch to a Genji and utilize the weak back line that they're giving us. I think the Farah just needs to play corners and play kind of like an attention grabber, while our Sig, I would just stick to while our Sig Bap and Genji, or Sig Bap, yeah, our Sig and Bap would just play really aggressively in the front line, because our front line will win. They don't have a Bap. So when they're playing double hit scan, what we don't see is Fried playing conservative, but that's what we want to see. We want to make sure that we're not giving them free fight wins. And this is important for everyone to know, because I know that I'm just rambling about DPS and setting them up right now. It's very important in Overwatch 2, but I mean, it also is important for Harry to know. It's important for Squid to know that, like, they have 2 hit scans. Our Pharah is not really going to be doing anything. It's now our turn to do things. So while our Pharah was poking out against Brawl and we were just waiting for Pharah to make plays, Pharah is now waiting for you to make plays so that we can divert the attention away from her, and then she can aggressively walk into the backline and maybe look for a barrage. But it's all about understanding what they are playing to a very basic degree, what you are playing to a very basic degree, not thinking that hard, and then playing around that. Let's keep going, though. I'll ask questions once we lose this round. Oh, sorry. Alright, so what was the mistake there? What happened? Do you need me to rewind the tape
Yes.
here?
Yes,
Yeah.
I do.
Okay,
pushing on main now. Go from my side if you can. It's just,
I'm gonna play from up top.
I don't think double hit scans up.
The position that we put Farah in was open, and she just was kind of in the air, and everyone could see her.
Okay.
We tried relying on the Pharah still, just like you were talking about before, and then Pharah went too far out trying to get a pick, and that kind of screwed us. And then
So how could the Pharah play differently? I'll give you... No, just tell me, should she take this angle here? Should she play, like, around the pillar here? Should she play back here?
I think
probably 2.
I would say 1 or 2.
Yeah, 1 or 2 definitely, because 3 is kind of open there.
Okay.
Closer to the team can
So-
get more support.
1 is more higher, so I'd say 1.
I mean, any of these could work, and
I think
I'm just interested in seeing what your guys' thoughts are here.
I was just
3
thinking.
seems too open. It's kind of the same angle where she got killed. They can all see her. Everyone can see her. She
I
has
mean,
no
I think
corner to play around. I think playing around that corner is probably the best option.
So yeah, playing around and poking and like playing even closer than before because we still have that ultimate. But what the thing is that we have to understand, and we all have to keep each other accountable for, not in a toxic manner, but it is understanding like what they're doing and how you can't just play the same all the time. You never can. In ladder, you never can. But no one teaches you this as a gold player. They just say, lol, dude, just don't die and shoot thing. When in reality, you just think about this, and then everything is so much easier. But, like, here's the thing. Stuff like this, like, with the Pharah dying and the Mercy as well, stuff like that happening cannot happen. Like, that's, like, hard throwing. Like, hard throwing. I think you guys realize that afterwards, but it's important for me to highlight that so that we understand maybe how we could do it better. That's an okay sig ult. It's just that, what's the problem with the sig ult?
Is it because we're down already, or because
The fight's already lost. It's not going to do
Yeah.
anything for you. Unless you can find, like, 2 picks with it, which you haven't spammed anyone beforehand, so realistically you can't. It's bad. Like, once the fight is lost, realize the fight is lost, especially with sig ult, Harry. It's so important that we play for your sig ults. Because you are a very strong player on this team. I'm pretty sure the highest SR of everyone. It's very important that we play for the sig ults and we realize the fight is lost, it's lost, and we play to win fights off of that.
Okay. I think I ulted because we were down, and I wanted to try to at least find a pick because I think I was gonna switch to Doom to try to touch. But yeah, I understand what you're saying.
I think the ult's just better here. And also, I understand you're trying to make a play. This is just one of those moments that the play is not going to be makeable.
yeah,
Like, there was no poke on their team. It wasn't happening.
yeah.
And I mean that just takes time to learn. But it's still important that we highlight these things. At this point, we still haven't used Feral. We've had it for about the whole game. And we'll talk about that after the VOD because it's just going to take too long. But overall, this was like the second map of the scrim. Usually, Midtown doesn't get capped third, but it could have been 5 minutes. It was 2 minutes. So we did win fights. We did see where things went well. We saw things when it went poorly, and honestly, only like 1 or 2 of those things was a micro mistake. The thing with Saber and the thing with Frederick. I'm not saying that everyone else couldn't have played better. Like Mateau resing under the bridge. Yeah, that was also
my window
micro
play
mistake.
on second point.
Yeah, everyone can still play the game better, like all of those things can definitely be better. But those are like the highlight things that are going to hurt you guys in the long run. So let's move over to attack now. I just kind of lecture you guys, yada yada yada. I'm trying to figure out comps for you guys to play, and I don't really know. Here, this is hard. Because we want to poke, but so do they. Honestly, this is one of those times where it's like their comp's low-key just kind of better because Farah really struggles in this point. Honestly, if I were you guys and you're running a pharmacy and you realize they're running a Sojourn and a Hanzo on the high ground and they're just spamming you for days here, I would honestly take the same long rotations they did, or at least put your Farah down here and just play for the Farah to jump up and spam them and force them out that way. And have your Sig just like path through main. Or have your Sig path through here too. And I would just try to close the distance faster. Because now that you guys have Tracer, arguably their spam is better. But the main thing that I really want to look at here is staggering. You guys staggered for 3 fucking minutes. It was bad. So we need to talk about you guys not staggering because it was a repeat problem. And this happens at all levels. Don't feel bad about it. But it is something that needs to change. It needs to change or there are going to be problems. So, are we all good to start offense or do we have any questions about defense?
All right, cool. Sorry, taking notes. Nope, no question.
Okay, so let's keep going here. I only have 45 minutes left. It shouldn't go that much longer. So immediately the problem here is that we're all going to try to walk through them main, and they're just going to spam us out for free because we don't have enough shield to really deal with anything. Also, the rotation calls by Harry, we all need to just be listening for that. 3, 2, 1, we're rotating to this position. And it's also just learning these maps is something you have to do because it's kind of difficult to learn the maps because it's only been out for like a week at this point. But like everything I said, we could take the long rotation here, we could take a short rotation through here. Literally anything could work better than just like, let's walk through main. Just make sure we're listening to Harry before the game starts, because we should be talking about where we want to rotate and then go from there. But okay. Right here, first pick. The fight is lost. We're not winning this fight unless someone miraculously finds a pick. So that's where mistake 1 is going to happen if we try to take a fight here. Which is what we see here. Macro mistake from Sabretooth. Have to make sure that you're... I already hailed on this guy for this. He already knows. Tracer, you want to make sure you're not taking one-on-ones. You need to make sure that you're ready for your team and that we're supporting that. So bam. Squid just spawned. Now we're down 4 versus 5 again. We're not winning this fight. Regroup and spawn. Don't even peek. I mean that. Don't even look at them. Wait for the team with 5. You were never going to win first point Midtown or first point anything without your whole team unless you already have picks. So you guys are all chilling. You're all chilling here, but then what happens is we don't call the 3-2-1 rotation. And then they walk on us, and then we get split again. And oh yeah, wait, Squid already died again because we didn't know what we're trying to do. So this whole time, I'm pretty sure it's just going to be a case of we don't know what we are trying to do, and understanding that we need to make sure that when someone is down, just stack in spawn and get 5. I mean that. And this is just, I mean, I know you guys can't see me. Oh no, you can't see my camera. Just me shaking my head at how stupid their team is for having like the mechanics that they have at Diamond.
Honestly, don't even like shoot in this first spot. Just like walk up.
So yeah, Harry says, I know you guys can't hear. He says, don't even shoot Zen in this spot. Just rotate through. Yes, that's correct. The thing is, Harry, is that you need to make sure that you're rotating with your team. So this right here, your early shield, you're already like losing all that shield, and now Zen can't even rotate with you. So that's on both sides. Squid has a very bad habit of staying in open way too long and not just rotating. I have that problem too. So does every other flex support. Literally all you need to do when you're rotating here though is just charge your 5 orb, shoot it at a shield, and you got value. And just make the rotation. So that's the Squid side of things. The Harry side of things is, okay, is everyone ready? We're going to rotate to this room. 3, 2, 1, rotating. Shield up. Okay, we're down here. Chill for my shield, or chill for this cooldown, unless you think you can push right away. All right, now we're going to rotate to this left side, and we're going to take the high ground. 3, 2, 1, rotate with my shield. Go, go, go. All right, cool. Oh, wait, they're engaging on us? Okay, if I have Sig ult, okay, we're Sig ulting here. 3, 2, or Sig ult now, target, 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 target. Does that understand how that's better comms than... All right, I need you to push. All right, I'm waiting for you.
Yeah.
And the same thing is like Squid... Even when that 3-2-1 happens, if you don't listen to the 3-2-1 and you die, we just saw, like, dude, a minute and a half is off the clock because we didn't even get a fight yet. Like, it's so small, but it's literally trolling you guys so hard.
Yeah.
It's the smallest thing. Make sure rotations are crisp when you're playing against that comp, because they're gonna catch you out every time. And that's that's honestly their most favorable comp right now with the Soldier. The Sonic that, lol, like, dude. Make sure we stack. We're not even going for any crazy plays because it will domino effect on your mental and it's just downhill from there. So, I mean, here. I understand you guys are playing poke. This is bad. Look how split you are. Your Tracer literally just respawned. Your Pharah... Okay, to be fair, your Pharmacy can kind of play here. And play a way to, like, jump up while you guys take the fight from below. I'm totally fine with that. There was no mention of that in the comms. I know you guys can't hear it, but there was no mention of that. And the other thing is, when we realize that they're rotating off, which you can see, Harry, let your Pharah know immediately. Let her like say, hey, they're off the first high ground. Get set up. We're going on the second high ground in 3, 2, 1. That also kind of goes on Sabretooth, but Sabretooth was dead, and we took that fight a little fast. So take it upon yourself. Because this is totally a fine idea. I know you can't see my camera, but I'm intrigued. I'm like, okay, they're turning this around. Somehow they're not getting tilted. I'd be tilted out of my mind right now if I was on that team because we are trolling so hard. But right here, it's just a matter of getting an idea of what we want to do and doing it. I think the idea of going down here and letting our Pharah spam from above is fine. It's also okay to play up here. I'm just not a big fan of it. Why?
Because they have a better poke comp.
That's for one. What character is really good in enclosed spaces? Let me make this easier on you. Sojourn. What ability does she have that makes it awful to push through small chokes?
Her E.
Yeah, her fucking nade. Stupid. It's not a 15-second cooldown for a reason, but it'll completely destroy you. So you just have to make sure that you're not getting hard rolled by that ability since we don't have it and they do. But okay, we're just poking, fine. I honestly think the Pharah just walks with team and just pokes the long sight line and just hits shield the whole time. Unless you guys are trying to go like under here, which I still like. So yeah, the Pharah walks in here, which, okay, it wasn't perfect, it wasn't stellar, but like at least it worked, you know? You guys at least engaged together. You weren't staggered. Like, this wasn't even a good fight, to be honest. You guys could have taken this a lot better with a better plan. But, like, if we would have just done this first fight, we would have been at 3 minutes, 30 seconds with a pick on. But here, this is what happens with the tempo thing. With catalysts that we were talking earlier. Okay, we kill the Sig. We kill that. Right here, what should we do?
Start moving. Start moving. Start rotating.
And what did we do?
Sat there, I think.
I was waiting for yelling, even though we were up 2.
So what we did actually aggress here, but the more aggressive thing that we want to do is just take the fight to point and put our mercy or our pharmacy to focus on this res and block the res. But now then, we let the res go through. We didn't have any of the DPS actually looking at that, and then it was just downhill from there.
If they do get the res off and like this Sig is clearly separated with only the mercy, should we full push that then, or?
I mean, like, you can full push that. I think the more important problem here is the fact that we let the res go off, and the first thought was not, hey, let's put our tracer on point and then kill them in rotation. Like, that needs to be the bam right away. Cool.
I thought we were all going to point, so I just rotated.
You can all go to point, or we can have the tracer go to point. But the important thing is that we don't just like all aggress here. As long as something is going on point, and we can, it's just. There are so many different ways to aggress on this. This is just like the worst way we possibly could have done it. Like, we fumbled the bag, for lack of a better term. We fumbled that bag. Our money is not Gru. We are not Rich Minions. They are the Rich Minions, actually. That is their team name, by the way. Their team name is Rich Minions.
No, you gotta be kidding me.
So just keep that in mind as we move on into Saturday. But here's the thing. We do eventually take point, but we're already down. We've lost 2 people, and now Fry's dead too. I mean, that was our best opportunity to win. And this isn't the only map where this happens. It happens on Junkertown too, where Harry then makes up for that mistake, immediately pushes into the front line after 2 picks, but then everyone else is doing God knows what in the back line of your own team, just chilling. I'm cringing and crying in the club is what I just said. So yeah. It's tough watching that stuff when it's like, you guys did so well, and then we fumbled that bag. The rotation was a little bit cleaner. It still could get a lot better. We switched off into a Cassidy, so we are trying to play a little bit more brawly. I think this is fine because we have Saber Hanzo, so we can still poke. Just understand that they still have that E. But if we're mirroring, I think it's fine too. They flux, we trank, that's fine. But then they had ults and we just got forced out. That was just good play by them. Honestly, there's ways to beat that, but I don't see them doing that consistently, so I'm not really gonna worry about it. And then right here is just when you lose your Sig, you're not gonna hold this position very well. Honestly, I would just wait and fall back and play with your Sig, because they're just going to be able to surround you with their angles now and kill you. Or just wait for your tank to come back. And at this point, you guys kind of have to just go Lucio or Tracer or Ball and just look for a touch. So I think this is a loss. I believe. I might be wrong.
Actually, I think we do win this.
You guys found a pick? Okay, we got a I'm just not gonna say anything, and if you guys win this, it's fucking miraculous.
Yeah, I think I remember.
Oh wait. Oh, I was thinking about like the pugs, not the.
Oh yeah, I remember.
So here's the thing. Let me actually go through paint and make a black screen. Paint. And then we're gonna talk about notes here. 1. Tempo. This needs to be going through everyone's head, not just Harry's. Okay? Oh wait. Hold on. Let me do this first. Okay. Number 1. Tempo. And this is for the entire team. I need you guys to 1. Always be pressing tab. I need you to 2. Constantly be thinking, what does my team want to do? Does my team want to poke? Does my team want to surround them? Does my team want to play fast? Does my team want to play slow? What does their team want to do? Do they want to play fast? Do they want to play slow? Is it even in terms of our base tempo? And then what individual characters are going to tweak that? Okay? Always. Always. Because I can tell you this much. Their team's a lot better mechanically. And honestly, no. Fuck that. They're not that much better mechanically than you guys are, to be quite honest. I mean, they're solid. Don't get me wrong. But I think they're within reach if we just play smarter. And with 1 scrim today, and if you guys can find a way to scrim tomorrow, maybe it'll help you guys out a lot. Does this point make sense? Because if you guys can understand tempo, you guys can literally just become GM in like 2 weeks. I
That's
mean,
so strong.
no, I'm telling you straight. It's happened to 2 players now. I've taught 2 players. To Kurovi and Kujo was. I mean, he was basically GM. He was $39.99, 2 weeks. Understanding tempo and how it affects your character. Like,
Nice.
literally, if you guys can understand this, it'll tell you guys everything. It'll tell you rotations. It'll tell you how to use your cooldowns. You all just need to understand how fast they want to play, what they want to do, and not let them do that. Like, literally, the 3-point thing I said earlier, where Squid, you were making it way too complicated on yourself. I'm being dead ass right now. I'm using the Zoomer word. I'm being dead ass right now. If you guys just make it that simple, you guys can win this easily. You don't need to think that hard. Even at tier 3, you really don't need to think that hard. You just think about tempo and you're fine. So, does anyone have questions about the tempo, at least with that Farrah comp we're running? Gonna take that as no questions. We're gonna move on to the next thing.
If they have a mercy
Okay,
and
go
we
on.
get a pick from far away, and there's no shot that before the res we'll be able to get another pick or anything like that, how should we pursue that basically?
Okay.
Like
So let's
knowing
say
that they'll get the res and that they're safe.
Let's say that they have an advantageous position, and you guys get a pick. And what does that pick do for you, even if they can res? But what does it force them off of?
We get a window of time to push.
You get a window of time to pressure them off of their advantageous position to make it your advantageous position. So that pick doesn't mean that it's not good. It's a catalyst, which goes into our next point. I'm just going to write cata dot. It's a catalyst into what we can do next. And this is kind of odd. I've never really given this point to anyone, but it kind of goes hand in hand with tempo. It's describing like events in the game because I don't think you guys have ever thought of it this way. A pick doesn't always mean you win the fight, but it means that you can be aggressive and you need to capitalize off of it. It doesn't mean that you just int. It means that you can take good spots. Or maybe that you take the fight to point, which will lead you to have an advantage. And understanding where those advantages lie. Does that make sense, Harry?
Yeah.
Okay, it's the copyright song again. I can't have this on YouTube. I cannot have this on YouTube. My mod needs to stop putting that stuff on. The copyright song. Okay. Catalyst with ultimates. Understanding that we need to make sure that we're using ultimates when we have them. This is on Harry for ultimate planning. Understanding what they have right after we ult track and then playing specifically on that. To be honest, I can't teach that in a day. I can gladly make you watch one of my scrims. I mean, I'm sure the thing is I didn't really fight playing hard the last scrim that you guys all got the chance to watch because quite frankly it was a dog shit scrim. Like those people weren't good. We just kind of lost steam. But like planning on what we're gonna be doing the next fight. I do that fairly well. I can try to help you out. It's more so understanding what they have, understanding what we have, and we can play differently off of that, and just understanding that concept. We don't need a hard, like, to improve and just do that right away. The tempo thing, to be quite honest, is the most important thing on this board right now. It's just that simple.
What's up, Saber?
Stop.
Hey.
And honestly, I don't even know if I have a 0.3. I guess for like Midtown, it's just like rotations. And really this goes for any map. I guess rotations would be a good thing to do. And just making sure that we're communicating those rotations through our main tank, understanding that everyone's ready, and not staggering. Rotations and staggering. That's going to be the last thing. Rotations and stag. Making sure we're not doing that. Making sure that we're not taking 1v3s. Making sure that we're not looking for extra value while our team is dead. Just wait for 5. You'll get more value that way. You don't need to get the value right then and there. Does that make sense? That one should make the most sense out of everyone because it lost us first point. 3 minutes we wasted stagger.
Yeah.
Okay. So who all do I have here? Okay.
I am here still.
Are we done with Midtown?
Is Mato here or did Mato leave?
Mato's gone.
Okay. So who do I have here? Let's just check.
Motor, me, Harry, and Saber.
Okay.
Saber just got.
Motor.
Yep.
How is tempo going to affect the way that you would play on Sojourn?
It's going to determine whether I'm playing more with the team or trying to take an angle, and how far back or pushed up I'm playing as well.
So positioning.
Yep, positioning.
How is it going to affect the way that you use your abilities?
Well, using my ultimate to control tempo, getting
That's
getting
one
off
thing.
early.
Ultimates.
Um,
Slow grenade. How are you going to use your slow grenade against a brawl versus against like a dive? Something that's going to surround you.
Against a brawl, I'd probably use it more proactively in a choke that they're trying to walk through. Against dive, maybe more reactively. Kind of wait for them to make a move and then.
So if they jump your support, are you going to just try to slow need the tank to force them off your support?
That's I guess
That's
so.
an option, yeah. So here's the thing. You said it with the brawl thing. When is brawl at its weakest? I know I'm kind of spitballing a lot of questions to you, but I'm going to say this for everyone.
At a distance.
Yes, that is
Far
true.
away.
Let's say when they like.
The longer the fight goes on.
So like, okay.
Sort
What
of.
does Brawl, let's think about what Brawl wants to do. What does Brawl want to do?
Close the distance.
How do they do that?
Going weird, different
Speed,
rotations.
rotate.
Not
Rotations.
rotations.
So when are they at their weakest?
When they have to go, they can't rotate.
When they rotate. When they are rotating is when they're at their weakest. Because their whole team needs to be walking. I mean, we saw when you guys were at your weakest was which most definitely in your rotations. That's the same thing for a brawl. Even if their brawl is super stacked, it's still a weak point for them.
So
And
can cut
imagine
off
if you
their
slow
rotation
them and you
with
can
the-
cut them off. Yes, very well. See, now we get it. Now we see how we derived that from understanding tempos of both compositions and both characters. Do we see how that was derived there?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Do we see how, if we all just take a step back, maybe after scrim, we recorded our own POV, we look at a fight that we lost and be like, okay, what could I have done better here? And we just think about tempos, it gave us all the answers. We don't need to know anything else about Overwatch. We can just know how each character plays intrinsically with tempo, and we can be GM, because we can teach ourselves everything. And that's the most important thing I'm ever going to teach you guys. It's literally in my How to Get to GM video. It's literally in that, and I cannot stress enough how important it is to try and understand each character's intrinsic tempo, how it works, and stopping them from doing that. It's the same thing with Zen. Okay, they're weak in rotations. I'm going to try to look for 5 balls to maybe break that shield so they're even weaker in their rotation. Farah, I want to make sure I'm poking them and forcing them to rotate, and then I can really go hard when they're rotating, because they're not going to be able to focus me as hard. It's stuff like that. Excuse me. Are we all up to speed on that? Do we all understand the way that we thought through that and how it kind of worked? Do we understand that process that we just went through? Because it's really important. If you guys don't get anything else from this, I just want to make sure you understand how tempo works and how you can like work your way through it, because it's going to help you guys become better players. It's going to help you guys. It's the one thing you need to worry about.
My VOD,
Like,
the person who gave me the VOD was huge on tempo.
because it drives everything.
Yeah.
Okay. Catalysts. Harry, talk to me here.
Knowing like what events go like transpire in the fight, and knowing that certain things allow you to be able to push or like take more advantageous positions rather than if they didn't happen, stuff like that. Such as like if you throw in a bob, then you can probably, if not like go in with it, then you could probably go and take up a high ground while it's distracting them, if like that's the best you can do.
Understanding when there's openings and taking them. Yes.
Yeah.
That's. I mean, it's the same thing, just different word.
Yeah.
Sorry, my allergies are like terrible. Let me go my nose real quick. Oh my god. Jesus Christ. I'm so sorry. Okay. And squid. Rotations and staggering. When are you the weakest?
During those,
During rotations, yes. If you see people staggering, what do I want you to do as a support? It's not necessarily your job, but if no one else is going to say it, what do you need to say if someone dies? What's the most important thing to do?
regroup. Or someone on my team or someone on the enemy team?
Your team.
Regroup. Let's go for next fight.
Sure, that could work. But understanding, where do we regroup? Regroup and spawn. Don't even peek. Stuff like that. Making sure we're reiterating that. And we're waiting to play together. So, in terms of what we're going to be running specifically, I'm going to end the YouTube video here, so we'll talk about that after I'm done recording. So give me a little bit of time to do that. If you guys did actually watch on YouTube, I really, really appreciate if you've gotten this far. If you haven't liked and subscribed already, which, I mean, at this point, you're probably a subscriber, because I really doubt anyone that's not a subscriber would watch an hour of some random dude they don't know. But hey, if you're this far and you're one of those people, hey, give it a like, give it a subscribe. I'm definitely going to be doing more of these types of VODs in the future for Overwatch 2. Whenever it fully drops and we have replay codes, it's going to be so much better. Oh my god. But I really appreciate you guys all for watching. Please make sure you set that reminder. The link to the stream will be in the description for the second final day of the PAS Community Clash against Skarovi. So make sure that you're going to tune in for that. I don't got anything else for you guys. If you do have questions, leave them below. But until next time, I've got to peace out and PAS out. I'll see you on Saturday.
Bye. Peace.
Peace out, PAS. Let's go.